and I'm just in tears, and I'm like, Dad, I lost my virginity. Hello everybody, my name is Kelly, and this is the Kelley Show. On this channel, we tell stories, kick it, and have a good time. So just sit back, relax, and enjoy the video. So, on today's video, I'm going to be telling you guys all about the time that I lost my virginity at age 15, and my mother found out and forced me to tell my father. So if you would like to hear the full story on that, then just like this video, subscribe, and keep on watching. So before we start the story time, I just wanted to let you guys know this is going to be the very first video on this channel. I really hope that you guys enjoy it. I also have another channel, and that is my ASMR channel. So for all of my ASMR lovers out there, go check it out. I just wanted to create this channel so you guys could see like a different side of me, because obviously my entire life isn't ASMR, and sometimes I just feel like talking to you guys. So yeah, if you love ASMR or are interested in it, go check out my channel. There's plenty of content over there for you guys. It's still quite a small channel. There's about 500 or so subscribers on there. We actually just hit 500, and I love each and every one of you guys. But let's just get right into the story time. So to start this video, I just want to give you guys a little bit of background information about the person of whom I lost my virginity to. His name is Garrett, that's his real name, and he is my boyfriend to this day. Sadly, I still have issues with my parents with Garrett because I lost my virginity at such a young age. But I'm 20 years old now, and now we live together. We're not married yet, but yeah. We've been together for the past 5 years, and I love him to death, but that is who I lost my virginity to. So yeah, I just wanted you guys to know that before we got into the story. Going back to year 2015, this was the year that, this was my last year of junior high. I was in the 9th grade. It was the night before the last day of 9th grade year. So it was the night before the very last day of school, 9th grade year, and it was going to be summertime. And I decided that I was going to sneak out and go see Garrett and go with Garrett. So just so you guys know, me and Garrett had been together for like 4 or 5 months at this point. And I know that doesn't seem like a lot of time to decide like if I want to lose my virginity to this person, but keep in mind I was stupid, I was young, I was 15, and I was in love. We actually got together in April of 2015. Me and Garrett had recently gotten the same job. We were planning on going to work at the water park for the summer and be lifeguards. We both went to classes after school to get our lifeguard certification, and we both got the job. So we were super excited, and I was just super ready for the summertime. I was so excited that we had 1 more day of school left. Everything was just going so fast, and this is like a lot for a 15-year-old girl. Like, I just started driving, like I got my permit, so I wasn't driving to school by myself yet, but I had just gotten my permit, so I would be driving to work by myself once the water park, the local water park opened. So it was the night before the very last day of 9th grade year, and me and Garrett had been texting or whatever, and he asked me, I think it was like a joke at first, because we were just texting back and forth late at night. I was in bed, and everybody was asleep in the house, and he was like, I think he said like, I'm gonna come pick you up or something. And I obviously thought like he was kidding, because heck no. And this actually wasn't the first time that I had snuck out with Garrett, but actually I think it was. Yes, it was actually like, no, it wasn't. Yeah, I think this was like the very first night that I snuck out with Garrett. This is insane. But because I guess after, I just remember so many times sneaking out, but I really believe like this was the so this was the first night I had snuck out with Garrett. But prior to that, I had snuck out with my friend Jenna and her boyfriend Joey, but they're not together anymore. So this was the very first time that I was sneaking out with Garrett. But anyway, I was laying in bed and we were going back and forth, texting or whatever, and he said, I'm gonna come scoop you up. And I didn't think he was being for real at first, because I'd only snuck out one other time before with my friends, but I was like just playing around. Okay, here's the Addy, and I sent him my address. I honestly did not think he was actually going to come, and we were just going back and forth after that, just flirting or whatever. And then about 30 minutes later, he texts me back and is like, I'm here. And my heart drops and is like you could feel it, you know, you could actually feel my heart pounding, because I'm 15. I'm obviously at my mom and dad's house, sleeping in my room, and he texts me and says he's here. So I knew that he didn't pull up the driveway, so here's a picture for you guys. I lived on a pretty steep hill, so when you're going up the driveway, especially late at night, my house is on top of this hill, and the driveway is like on the side of the hill, and it swerves up towards my house. So at night, you can pretty much see or notice anybody coming up the driveway, because if they have their headlights on, you can see a bright ass light shine into the house. But so I knew he hadn't pulled up the driveway, so I thought maybe he was joking, and I was like, no way you're here. And then I think he sends me like a picture of the beginning of my driveway, and my heart is just like, you know, it's pounding hard. It's pounding hard. So I'm like, I'm probably like, you know what, I can't do this, like this is insane, go home. And he's like, no, like I drove all the way out here, and I did live like 20-30 minutes out of town, so I knew he probably did drive like quite a long ways to come. So I was like, give me 10 minutes and I'll be down the driveway. I text him back, I'm like, give me 10 minutes, I'll be down the driveway, turn your headlights off, turn your truck off so nobody can hear or see you, and I'll be down in 10 minutes. When I tell you, I shaved my legs so darn fast. I never shaved my legs that fast in my life, but I shaved my legs, I put like cute pajamas on or whatever, and this was like the most quiet I had ever moved. So I got ready or whatever. I got ready in the dark, like I legit shaved my legs in the dark because I didn't want anyone knowing I was awake. So I get ready or whatever, and I sneak out my back door. And luckily, my back door, the kitchen, me and my sister's room, and the back door are all on the same side of the house, and my parents' room were like on the complete other side of the house. So it wasn't very hard for me to sneak out, but my house wasn't very big and the walls were very, very thin, so you always heard somebody creeping around if they were. So I was being very, very quiet. I don't even think I put my shoes on until I got outside because I didn't want them hearing like I was wearing shoes, like whatever. So I make it outside, I make it out the back door, And once I made it out the back door successfully, I felt like I was legit on top of the world. I was like, I'm really doing this right now. I'm really about to go with Garrett. And I'm praying to the great Lord that Mom and Dad don't wake up and go to my room and see that I'm not there. And yeah, so I make it out the back door. I run, just straight run as fast as I can after I put my shoes on. I run down the hill. And sure enough, there he is. I'm pretty sure he was like in his mom's car or something. I don't even remember. Actually, yeah, I do remember it was his mom's car because that back seat was very small. I get in there and I'm like breathing like super hard, and I think Garrett's like, did you run like down the hill? And I'm like, yeah. I'm like sneaking out, and Garrett's parents, I don't want to say didn't care what he did, but they were very, very lenient parents. And Garrett like stopped getting in trouble after he was like 10 years old, and his parents are pretty much like, if you screw up, that's on you. Like, sorry bud, learn from your mistakes. And my parents like have me by a leash and is like, oh, don't go anywhere. But he was like, did you run? Like, because he wasn't aware of the consequences of what I was doing. But I was like, yeah, I ran. Like, I had to be super quiet, blah blah blah. And I'm sure that conversation ended and we were flirting or whatever. And so he takes me to this field because I live in like the countryside, or I used to anyway. I mean, I still do, but with my parents we lived on the outskirts of our local town or whatever. And so he took me to this field, and we are actually in the field behind like a few of my girlfriends. They all lived in the same neighborhood, like 5 minutes up the highway. And so there's this huge like open field that has like old abandoned roads that they would like drive bowlers on or whatever behind the neighborhood. So that's where he took me because it was like only 5 minutes away. And so we parked in that field, and it was actually very, very romantic. I just remember talking to him and looking up at the stars, and yeah, it was something else. But yep, we did it in the back of the car, in the back seat, in the field. And that's where I lost my virginity at age 15. But anyway, we did what we did, and then he brought me back home. And so at this point, we've said our goodbyes. I'll see you at school tomorrow. The last day of school is tomorrow. And yeah, that was it. And so at this point, I'm out of the car and walking my tired little unvirgin butt up the hill, back to my house. And so I run up the hill, like run up the side of the hill, so if my father was up, he couldn't see me. Well, actually, I think I ran up my grandmother's hill because she lived like right next to me, so I think I ran up her hill and then just went through the side gate. But yeah, so at this point I'm up the hill and I'm outside by the back door. Excuse me. And so I grabbed the doorknob and I literally am turning it this slow. Like literally this slow, like just waiting for the door to pop open. And then it's like click, and it pops open. And I gently open the door. And the back door is like in the laundry room, and we lived in a trailer house, so, and there was no steps in the back door, so I'm literally having to grab the side of the dryer and hoist myself up to make it into the house. And so I grabbed the side of the dryer and I'm just praying to God nobody is up right now. It's probably like 3 or 4 in the morning. I've been gone for a couple hours or whatever, and I hoist myself up and I make it up, and I grab the door, I turn around, grab the door, and slowly shut the door, and then slowly turn the doorknob so it'll sink back in the lock, so it doesn't just click on the door when I shut it. So I turn the doorknob again, make sure the lock is sunk inside the door, close the door, and then turn the doorknob again to put the lock in. And so yeah, and then I take my shoes off really quick so they can't hear my shoes, and I tiptoe back to my room. And I made it. This is not the time that I got caught. I made it into my room and I went to bed, and that was quite a night for me. It really was. But the very next day was the last day of school, and I was exhausted because I'd only gotten like 2 hours of sleep that night. But I wake up at like 6 a.m., get ready for school, go to school, and since it was the last day of school, nobody was really learning or like doing anything academically. So a lot of us it was like a super chill day. Like, you could pretty much go to your favorite teacher's room and just hang out with your favorite teacher all day. Because we were in junior high, we didn't do field days anymore for last day of school. But I went to my favorite teacher's classroom, and it was my Spanish teacher, Miss Smith. Shout out Miss Smith, you're freaking awesome. But if you're watching this, like the video and subscribe. But I pretty much slept in her classroom all day long. I didn't even go and try and find Garrett. Oh yeah, Garrett was like, I think he was like making up some classwork so he could pass a class. And so he was busy doing that all day long, and I was just sleeping in Miss Smith's class all day long because I was so tired. And when you had an assembly that you could go to if you wanted to for the last day of school, it was like the last pep rally or something like that. And everybody went, and I couldn't find Garrett there, and I was kind of freaking out. I was like texting him because I hadn't talked to him all day. I just gave this guy my virginity, and I'm like, where are you? You know, like, and he's not responding. And finally he's like, I've been in Mr. Conroy's class all day long trying to make up, trying to pass his class, blah blah blah. Mr. Conroy was our English teacher, but shout out Mr. Conroy. You're probably not watching this, but if you are, like the video and subscribe and comment down below. But yeah, so we had our last day of school, went home, and a couple weeks go by, and me and Garrett start our new job as lifeguards. So we start our new job as lifeguards. Just to fast forward, we're like a month in of being lifeguards, and we're loving it. We're getting to spend all summer together, working, making our money, spending time together as a couple. And my parents knew that I was dating Garrett at the time, and they didn't mind. They just thought he was like my silly little boyfriend or whatever. But my parents didn't like the idea of me having a boyfriend, but I was about to turn 16, and I somehow convinced them to let me have one. And so they knew I was dating Garrett, and they knew I was working with Garrett at the pool. They knew all of this, and yeah, they were just loosening the rope. They weren't being very strict on me. I'm pretty sure my parents were fighting and like worried about their own problems because yeah, that was just my life. But anyway, we're a month in lifeguarding, and I'm driving my mom's car to work, and I'm like super excited. I'm 15, I finally get to drive, I have my own job. Like, I'm really feeling like the steps of adulting are coming together, you know. And so there at the pool, we had swimming lessons at like 9 a.m., like super early. So some mornings I had to get up super early to go to the pool to do swim lessons, and Garrett did too. But there was also mornings where we didn't have swim lessons and the pool didn't open till 1 o'clock. So either you were at the pool at 9 a.m. or you were at the pool at 1 p.m. to open the pool or do swim lessons. And my parents thought, because of what I've told them, that swim lessons were every single day during the week, not the weekends, just during the week. So they thought every day during the week I was required to be there at 9 a.m. But that just wasn't the case, and sometimes I would tell them I had to be there at 9 a.m. and realistically I only had to be there at 1 p.m. So I would leave super early and go to Garrett's apartment because he only lived like 5 minutes away, or his family did anyway. His family's apartment was only like 5 minutes away from the pool, the city pool where we worked. And so some days I would just go there and hang out with him at his apartment until we had to go to work. And doing this at age 15 was a lot. And once you lose your virginity, it kind of alters a woman's attitude. So I'm pretty sure my parents noticed an attitude change. Like, I was a lot more distant from them. I wasn't really in family conversation as much, and I was on my phone a lot talking to Garrett. And my mom definitely noticed that, so she would like check our text messages and everything. She was very strict and went through everything on my phone. And at age 15, obviously there was text messages between me and Garrett talking about like, hey, I'm leaving early, or hey, I'll be there, I'll be at your apartment in 30 minutes, type of thing. So there was text messages of evidence that me and Garrett were doing this behind my parents' back. And one day I was in my mom's bathroom and I was on the toilet and I was on Snapchat, and I wasn't allowed to have Snapchat at the time. And I was on Snapchat on the toilet in my mom's bathroom, and my mom walks in and my heart drops, and I guess I jump or react somehow to her coming in, and she sees my reaction and immediately is like, give me the phone, give me the phone. And so I give her my phone. She sees that I have Snapchat, and she swipes on Garrett's name and just starts reading all of our messages. Love you, babe. I'll meet you in 30 minutes at your place. Like, mom reading that from her 15-year-old daughter to her boyfriend. Oh my gosh, I felt like my life was over, y'all. When I tell you, I was in tears, like begging for mercy, like so at this point I'm sitting on my mom's bed with my mom, just watching her go through my phone and reading all of the evidence of how I've been taking her car to Garrett's apartment early in the morning and then going to work with him, and then this, that, and the other. And like I said, this was like a month after I lost my virginity, so she was just reading all of this stuff about how I was just having sex with Garrett at his apartment, blah 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 blah. She was like, what is this, like, you're having sex? And I'm like, she's like, why does this say you've had sex? Why are you talking about sex with him? Have you had sex? And I'm just like staring at her in fear and like numb, and I can't even get a word out because it was just like that. I lost everything like that, y'all. And she's like, go tell your father. Go tell your father what you've done. Because at this point I said, yeah, I lost my virginity, and I just had to spill the beans. I really just had to spill the beans and tell her, yeah, I lost my virginity. Yeah, I've been going to Garrett's house before work. Yeah, I've been doing this. Yeah, I've been doing that. Yeah, I have Snapchat. Yeah, this, yeah, that. And so she's like, tell your father right now. And my father wasn't even at home at the time. My father was out hunting. So I'm having to call my father, interrupt him from his hunting trip, and tell him to come home because I need to talk to him. I didn't even tell him over the phone. I called him in tears, and I'm like, Dad, come home, I have to tell you something. And he's like, oh my gosh, what? I'm like, oh Dad, just come home so I can tell you. I can't tell you over the phone. And so my dad gets home and he's like, what the hell? Like, what? I had to leave for what? Like, why am I here? And I'm just in tears, and I'm like, Dad, I lost my virginity to Garrett. And his face just went blank, like straight, like he wasn't even mad at first. That's how mad he was. He wasn't even mad at first. Like he was like, what? Like what? I'm like, and I was just talking so fast because I didn't want to say it, but I'm like being forced to say it. And so I'm like, Dad, I lost my virginity. I've been going to Garrett's house during the summer. I've been going in the mornings before work, blah, blah, blah. Just spilling everything out at him because I'm like just trying to get it over with. And he's like, wait, what? This, that? Like, what? And I'm like, yes. And he wasn't even mad at first. And like, that's how you know it's bad, because he can't even be mad because he's so in shock. And so he's like, just go to your room. Me and your mom are gonna talk about this. And so I'm like, in my head, I'm like, thank God I get to go to my room, you know, like I'm just tired of being in there in that situation. And yeah, he sent me to my room, went to my room. I was probably in there for what felt like an eternity. There was just no way I was sleeping or anything, and I didn't have my phone at this point or anything, so I was just sitting in my room thinking about what they were talking about. And they called me back in there, and they're like, you're quitting your job tomorrow, you're breaking up with Garrett tomorrow, you have no more phone, no more TV. At the time I was on the swim team. I was about to start the high school swim team, and I had practice during the summer, and they're like, no more swim team, no nothing, like your life is over. And I really did think my life was over, but here I am with the same person. So yep, that was the time that I lost my virginity at age 15. My mom found out and forced me to tell my father. If y'all enjoyed this video and want to hear more, because I have plenty of other stories about how I got in trouble with Garrett growing up, because at this point I'm not even allowed to be with Garrett anymore. They've taken all communication away from me to speak to him and everything, but your girl ain't dumb, and your girl sure found a way to talk to her man. And if you would like to hear another story time about how I talked to Garrett while everything was taken away from me, like this video, comment down below, and don't forget to subscribe so we can have 2 separate channels, one ASMR, one for stories and just hanging out. And just thank you guys so much for watching and being here, and I will see you in the next one. Bye guys.